Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Neha Sharma. I am going to present my dissertation, and the topic of my dissertation is the role of education and female bonding in series life to achieve success in select novel. My novel is The Color Purple by Alice Walker. Content. Contents include introduction, important terms, research statements, research objectives, research questions, review of literature, research methodology, educational goals, a major footsteps to success, women's sport, a path to success, and the conclusion. Introduction. The present novel shows that how women are deeply suffered from racism, sexism, and patriarchal system. Alice Walker is considered as one of the great supporters of this movement, and her novel, The Color Purple, throws light on Afro-Black women who suffers a lot from various persecutions, including racism and patriarchy. Women is forced to have marginal role in the man's world, not because of her inability, but because of the social and cultural conditions which contribute to the neglect of women's identity, personality, dignity, and her own status to find her real identity. In addition, men exploit women for their own benefits and they deprive them of developing themselves on different levels, especially in education, socially, and banning them by establishing their own business or going to school. The study also shows that the role of education plays an important role in every single woman's life, and however, it shows in the present novel as the main protagonist of the novel named as Celie, who is totally banned by going to the school and is totally unaware of the studies. Being an uneducated woman, she is sexually abused by her own stepfather and having a two childbirths from her father. That shows that how education deeply affects on the life of Celie. Without knowing any education, any knowledge skills, she is sexually abused and beaten by her fathers. Education is a desired step where Black women and other women find it a practical means to enlighten others of their rights. Her sister, who is an educated woman, actually contributes in enlightening Celie with astounding to teaching skills. Thus, education gives an advantage to express herself. By the help of her sister Niti, by learning and education, helps Celie to write emotional letters to God about her struggling life. Moreover, this technique helped to reconstruct her personality and find her own status to find a real identity as being a woman. Female bonding plays a major role in women's life. However, there has always been bonding between among African women that cannot be broken as they are genuinely sisterhoods. This is a reciprocal one in which each gives and receives equally. The present novel shows that how the presence of other women in her life encourage and support her truly in every step and give a proper guidelines to her how she gets out from this painful and struggling life and hence to find her own identity and to live her life independently. In this community of women, all reach out in support of each other, and hence here female bonding plays an important role in the life of women in the society. Thus, woman plays a very important role in the society of wife, partner, sister, mother, teacher, health officer, and in short, the queen in the family at the same time. Research statement. This master dissertation studies and categorize the role of education system plays an important role in women's life to achieve success. As being an educated and self-dependent woman, she pays her own bills, buys her own things, and does not allow a man to affect her stability or self-confidence. As in the novel, the oppression is inflicted to Celie because of the patriarchal system, exemplified by her husband and father. Research objectives. My first research objective is examining the role of female bonding that encourage and support women in the tough times according to the present novel. Second is examining how the education system plays an important role in the life of every single woman as it helps Lily to be an independent person. Third is to bring into focus the cause of sisterhood relationship as in the select novel. Search questions. What are the consequences of education that takes place in women's life? Second one is how does the role of female bonding impact on the life of women according to the present novel? Important terms. First is feminism. The term feminism can be used to describe a political, cultural, or economic movement that aimed at establishing equal rights and legal protections for women. Feminism involves political and sociological theories and philosophies that concerned with issues of gender difference, as well as a movement that advocates gender equality for women and campaigns for women's rights and interests. Second one is female bonding. Afro-American women have always true bonding and that can never be separated. They have a pure bond of friendship with each other, which can help and support each other and always give an equivalent importance to each other. They have an incredible love and support for each other. They always motivate and encourage each other with different kind of responsibilities that takes place in life and therefore that is her best part of them which gives strength to each other. Third one is patriarchal system. It can be defined as a system where men are in authority over women in all aspects of society. In modern American culture and society, the idea of patriarchy is not as accepted as it once was decades ago. Review of literature, chapter 2. Womanist theory, while diverse, holds at its core that both femininity and culture are equally important to the woman's existence. In this conception, one's femininity cannot be stripped from the culture within which it exists. At first glance, this seems similar to the thought process of third wave feminism, which embraced the concept of intersectionality. Intersectionality is a term that was created to understand how oppressive structures like racism, classism, and sexism are inseparable from people's identity and experiences. The term was coined in 1989 by scholar Kimberly Crenshaw to describe the intertwined impacts of racism and sexism upon Black women. The difference between the two concepts lies in the valuation placed on intersectionality within the theoretical framework. Womanism supports the idea that the culture of a woman, which is in case, is the focal point of intersection as opposed to class or some other characteristics. It's not an element to her femininity, but rather is the lens through which femininity exists. As such, a woman's blackness is not a component of her feminism. Instead, her blackness is the lens through which she understands her femininity. Malala's struggle highlights a devastating reality. Girls make up the majority of the world's 61 million out of school children. They are less likely than boys to enter primary schools. Harmful practices such as early marriage, gender-based violence, discriminatory laws prevent them from enrolling in or completing schools. Educational system disparities start at the youngest ages and continued into adulthood. Research methodology. The research methodology that is used in the main study is analytic and a descriptive approach. In the present novel, we are interested to look at the main characters as well as the protagonist of the novel to get her identity of a woman, which is the basic right for every woman. The necessary and very basic term that is used in the novel is feminism and the role of womanism in every woman's life that follows the concept and interaction of the author. The central character gets out herself from the worst chapter of her life and hence with the help of other women, she gets the proper support and guidelines to take a proper stand for herself and gets her own identity. The sentiment of the author is how she separated herself from all their sexual violence and hence to regenerate her status of being a Black woman who is strong from inside and take a right for herself. The other main point that reflects the novel is how education system changed the life of women as being as educated. A woman become strong and fight for her rights. In the novel series, husband treated her as a housemaid, the woman who only worked for her in every single day by serving her child and fulfilling all her basic needs, has become her housemates. Her husband abused her, has misbehaved with her, beaten her in every single day. At the end, by the proper support and guidance of her sister Niti and other women, she take a decision for herself as she is going to live a life freely because she is fed up of from all that such things and is not going to take all that shit anymore. Therefore, she takes a decision to the outset to start with the new journey of life by the helping of improving her learning skills and the importance of female bonding in her life. A power of women's sport, a path to success. Female bonding is the central power that plays a great role in Celi's emancipation process. Mainly, it motivates Celie to change her life completely and to set herself free both physically and spiritually. With the help of these women, ranging from her sister Niti to her daughter in law Sophia and her husband's mistress Shug. The novel clearly indicates that the patriarchal system dominated over the black women was by using their physical might as well as treating the women as more animals. Female bonding is undoubtedly the basic or center in the novel. The actual power of the community can be found in women's alliances with one another. The relation of the women take different shapes. Some are in the form of motherly or sisterlyhood, some are connected with sex, and some are in the form of mentor and pupil, and some of these forms belong to friendships. Each one of the female characters has her own reasons, which is the source of power that makes her stand firmly in the face of problems. Thus, female bonding is the matter that ties the women to not only share their feelings, affections, sorrows, and opinions, but also helps them to share their domestic chores, looking after children and their needs. It helps women to overcome their sorrows, to move ahead in life, and to get liberated just like Celie in the novel. She, with the aid of other women, started her own trailing business and had a new home. And last but not least, she got her family back, her children and her sister. If people cared, shared, and lived with a feeling of togetherness, the planet would have been a better place to live in. Educational goals are major footsteps to success. Educational system plays an important role in women's life to find her key to success. By writing a letter is the main goal that takes place in Siri's life by giving her a greater achievement. Some people may ask themselves how the uneducated female who was once banned from going to school has the ability to write down a letter to express herself. Does society also plays a very important role in women's life, in women educational life? Writing is a very important skill that is used as a means of transferring somebody's suffering. Celie prefers to write when she does not find anyone to trust or to be honest with to tell God about all her pains and struggling life. Celie is able to create a world of her own by her own writings, which is not like the world where she really lives, that is full of oppression. In this world, she is free to do whatever she likes. This system guides her to search for freedom and to reject oppression and to understand her situation and how she can set herself. Therefore, the power of education that she has taken from her sister and writing skills become a tool for rebuilding her personality and her self-identity. Conclusion. The present study is taken from the great novel that wonderfully talks about how simple black women have struggled from a big change in her life from sexually abused to a being a self-dependent woman who is free to live her life and to make her own business by the improvement of educational system and an additional support of women's power in her life. Thus, we can say that the vision of womanism is achieved in the personality of Celie. Celie is a woman who is grown from being a humiliated girl into a responsible woman. With the help of other women as womanhood, regaining her stolen identity and running her own business. Therefore, the role of education and the idea of writing are the most impressive steps that actually contributes in the process of Celie's freedom. Her bonding and sisterhood relationship is not less important than writing, which inspired her to seek freedom and success in every aspect of life. Expressing herself as a self-dependent and a powerful woman is like a therapist to heal the wounds spiritually and physiologically and psychologically. Hence, women have all the powerful elements such as educational force and the power of female bonding that enable them to stand up against the violence of men through supporting each other. Therefore, in order to free from the patriarchal system and establish harmonious relationship with men, women learn how to be an independent, self-confident through their own efforts and keep on fighting against the patriarchal domination of a man. So that's the work cited. Alice Walker, Color Purple author, confronts with critics and talks about her provocative new books, Interview by Charles Whitaker. Then Yusuf Malala Yousafzai by Wikipedia. Then Womanism, Womanist Theory from this encyclopedia.com. Then I have taken the first wave feminism, feminist theory from Wikipedia. Thank you.